Hi, it's T. Michelle Birdsong, Eve, in New York City. This is part 3, Who Killed RSSB and Who Killed Jeffrey Epstein. RSSB was killed by Daphne Nathanson, Susan Nathanson, Norma Nathanson, Nancy Gross, Fountain Jones Jr., and his wife Karen Jones, Manira Smith, Linda Zitelli, Suzanne Kissing, Roy Thomas, and his daughter Jonathan Thomas. They left the guru Gurinder Singh Dillon no choice but to end RSSB and close the portals to Sachkhand due to the cold-hearted display at meeting of Guru and Disciple April 2018 in Fayetteville, North Carolina at the Science of the Soul Study Center. And Epstein didn't kill himself. The prison guards killed him. They strangled him. Okay. Now, when I returned from North Carolina in 2018, Mary Panama, my sister Martha from the first century, Watson when I was Sherlock Holmes, and she was Bruce Lee, or she projected herself as Bruce Lee. I heard he died after being shot by a blank bullet on the movie set. She is paranoid about being killed this life. She forbid me using her real name. When she found out I had not gotten a hug and a kiss from Babaji, Gurinder Singh Dillon, Jesus Christ, she got mad and said viciously, "You have nothing. You have nothing." Then I got mad. I had been filled with joy during the time I saw Babaji and heard him. Remember, during the first century, we had seen, that's Mary Panama, who was Martha, and I, who was Mary Magdalene, had seen my then husband, Jesus Christ, raise our brother Lazarus from the dead. So I have absolute faith in his abilities to do whatever he chooses and whatever he chooses to do. He said at the Dower he doesn't want stories written about the masters and the miracles they perform. Mary Panama now says she doesn't remember saying, "I have nothing," over the phone to me. I believe her. I presume it's her subconscious programming, the reason she had nothing and was homeless in the first place. My hang-up about money comes from the church teaching me at an early age that the rich people stand a better chance of going through the eye of a needle than getting to heaven. So they made me think that being poor is safe and being rich is dangerous. So anyway, when I found out months after returning from North Carolina that Babaji had not only spiritually, invisibly hugged and kissed me, but he'd married me and made a baby with me, I was so very happy. I told Mary Panama, but she had lost faith in my having a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, Gurinder Singh, though she doesn't come right out and say it. We've drifted apart. She's going to school to improve her English, ESL courses, and working a job. I encourage her to get into being a photographer. She has a natural talent for photography. But like Will Rogers at Replacing Error with Truth channel says of most people, they're programmed to work for others. They don't know how to work for themselves. Selves decoded. S for sun, E for Eve energy, L for will, V for victory, E for Eve energy, sun, Eve energy, will, victory for Eve's energy, the sun. So Eve's energy comes from the sun, and it's a victorious energy. Victory, Eve energy, source, sun. Yes. Sun is Eve's energy, will. Victory, Eve energy. Yes. Okay. It's nice to see the truth in writing. Govinda said to me in my ear, I may write about his miracles. He said he does them for me. In North Carolina, April of last year, near my birthday, April 9th, Manira Smith, Tony Smith, professor at Berkeley School of Music, Lou Reed's drummer's wife, came over to where Nancy Gross and I were sitting. Manira said, Manira and I had been very close friends, or so I thought, but she looked past me as she talked to Nancy. It's as if all the friends, so-called, were on the same wavelength. Let's not acknowledge Michelle's presence. Nancy was talking to me, but with unfamiliar disrespect in her voice. Manira said to Nancy, Babaji said those who came on the bus can move to the front. Manira had flown in, and she was sitting in or near the front. Since Manira wasn't addressing her comments to me, I was confused. I wasn't sure the message was for me. But just in case it was, when Manira left, I said to Nancy, do you think we should try and find seats in the front? I looked toward the front. It looked like every seat was taken. I felt afraid to leave my seat to look for another. I was afraid I'd lose the seat I already had. I don't like crowds. I was feeling insecure. After all, I didn't have a friend there, I'd found out. When Babaji came on stage, but let me just say that, when I asked Nancy, should we move to the front, Nancy asked Linda Zatelli. Linda Zatelli came over and looked at her and didn't say a word. She had a silly grin on her face, but she was the saber dog, the one in charge, and she didn't say a word. So anyway, when Babaji came on stage, I was shocked at how far back we were sitting. I felt regret that I had not gone to the front to look for a seat. After I asked Nancy, she called the saber. Oh, I already told you this. Okay. So Linda Zatelli looked past me, not at me. I couldn't believe this. She'd once loaned my husband Lucifer, Michael John Spear, and I $700 to pay for a hotel and transportation in North Carolina to see Babaji. We repaid the loan promptly. Now I wonder, did she loan us the money because I was working as a secretary and Michael was working as a teacher, so we weren't lower than her on the economic level? But we did have 3 children. Whereas now, not having new-looking clothes and not having professional hairstyle and having very few of my teeth, I guess if you're comparing and judging, I don't appear to be these Sasangi's equals. I'm shameful, a disgrace in their eyes. It really never occurred to me that these people I'd known and talked to every Sunday for 45 plus years and who had the same master as me were not my sisters and brothers, were not even my friends. Believing they were was the reason I felt safe in traveling here over 500 miles on a bus with very little cash. Is it possible that I only have one true friend, unconditional love, non-judgmental friend in the whole world? Babaji. When I told Satsangi John, the black guy who does Book Saver, that I'm pregnant, He didn't say you're 70 years old, you can't be pregnant. I didn't say about Baba G. John just gave me a hug and a big smile. Baba G said he communicates with me indirectly. I consider John's hug a hug from Baba G that I had wanted when I was in North Carolina. Also, at that meeting, Baba G tickled the Satsangi Savador volunteer on the arm. He just a few minutes ago told me he was indirectly tickling my clitoris. Clitoris. Let's see what words we find in the word clitoris. C for conscious, L for will, I for pleasure, T for true, O, R for order, U for you, and S for sense. Clitoris, conscious will, pleasure, true order, you sense. Yes, I sense the true order. I read English. I read English, but I also read energy. And that's the true. Conscious will, pleasure, true order, you sense. Yes, I do. I got to see Baba G projected on a large screen in the meeting of thousands. Thousands. What words do we have in thousands? Thou, thou, S for C, A for A-N for angel, Gabriel, Corinda, N for enter, D for daughter of the sun, S for self. Thou, see, thou, you, see angel Gabriel, Corinda, enter, daughter of the sun, self. He entered into me and put a baby there, spiritually. When the meeting started, all confusion, hurt, incredulousness, guilt left me. I was present with Corinda. Some folk act like being poor is a crime, I wrote, and Edwin Birdsong sang when he sang It Ain't No Fun Being a Welfare Recipient on the album What It Is. Poverty is akin to war. War, spelled backwards, is raw. Life is raw when you're at war. Life is raw when you're poor. Raw. Let's see what words we have in there. R for her, A for A, W for worse off. Her a worse off. Some people don't want to, yes, I'm worse off than the other societies. Some people don't want to be near people who are worse off than them. I was financially worse off than my fellow disciples of Babaji's. That's why they didn't want to connect with me, look into my eyes. Edwin, my first husband, put his guiding principle this way. You can watch my color TV if you have a color TV. You don't need to watch somebody's color TV if you have your own color TV. What's he saying? Don't need me? Don't need anything from me, not even kind words and a hug? I give you what you have. That is the law of attraction. You attract to you what you are. Maybe I've been ignoring myself for years. That's why I attracted these people who ignored me. But Babaji is not inhibited by the law of attraction. He doesn't give you what you have, what you don't need. He gave me what I needed, him as my husband and our child. I thought his Savidas servants were like him, compassionate and loyal. I thought, wrong, they are not like him. That means they are not following in his Jesus Christ Govinda Singh Dhillon's footsteps. They are the opposite of merciful and compassionate. Pastor Carrick Thomas of the Journey Church one Sunday after service had ended, I turned around and looked over my shoulder at him, and I saw Pastor Thomas looking at me with disdain and horror, like icky, pew. I've never been able to get myself to go back to that church. I'm haunted by the look on his face. Many Sundays he had smiled when we were face to face. It was only behind my back that I saw his real feelings about me. Some Sundays I would put all the cash I had in the offering bucket, which wasn't ever much, but it was what I had. How often I've been fooled, but I am grateful I have a friend, Govinda Singh Dillon. St. Paul Mike Murdoch said, "You only need one." I see now that Govinda had to shut down the path. He couldn't take those hypocrites back to God. They wouldn't fit. Incongruity. Like Mary Queen of Scots, they're to blame for their own misfortune. We all are. We create our own lives. One more time. Core of behavioral psychology. Your beliefs create your thoughts create your emotions dictate your actions dictate your results reinforce your beliefs. Obviously, you need to look inside your mind to see what you believe, consciously and unconsciously. Fountain Jones said to me in North Carolina that fateful Judgment Day, after I'd asked him to give Babaji a small package for me, that he would Fountain said he would send somebody, a man who definitely could give Babaji the package. After all, Fountain said, I want to see the package receive the care and attention it deserves. I was struck dumb hearing him try to bullshit me so he could get away without taking the package. In a few minutes, I saw Fountain, who works closely with Babaji for many years, closer than probably anyone. He travels with Babaji doing his technical hookups. I saw him on the other side of the building, looking sneakily at me. And I worked closely with Fountain, trying to get him on the path, telling him about it when he would be at our house to hear Edwin and his band rehearse in the basement of the house. I persuaded Edwin to buy, when some money came in from our first two albums, What It Is and Supernatural. The baby that Babaji and I made in North Carolina was Fountain's mother, Evelyn Jones, R.N. Fountain and Karen moved far away from Evelyn, where she couldn't be near her grandchildren and be useful, contributing to their lives. Evelyn wasn't on the path. I suppose Karen and Fountain looked down on her the way they looked down on me, Evelyn's new mom, when I looked down on my luck. You can't tell by looking who's better off than whom. I just do the best I can to be present in each gift of a moment. Thank you for watching.